The rivalry between India and Pakistan is one of the most enduring and complex rivalries in modern history. The story of two nations that emerged from the same country, yet have taken paths of conflict that have lasted more than 57 years. To truly understand the reason for the persistence of this rivalry, we must look beyond superficial hostility and dive deep into the complex fabric of history, ideology, and key events that have defined the relationship between these South Asian neighbors. Our story begins in the final days of the British Empire. For almost 2 centuries, the Indian subcontinent was under British colonial rule, a period marked by social, economic, and political unrest. By the beginning of the 20th century, the call for independence grew louder. However, this desire for freedom was not expressed unanimously. The two largest communities, Hindus and Muslims, had different visions for the future. The Indian National Congress, mainly secular but with a Hindu majority, favored a united India. In contrast, the All India Muslim League, led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, argued that Muslims would be politically and socially marginalized in a Hindu majority India. This difference in vision and ideology set the stage for a decisive separation. The concept of two nations, the idea that Hindus and Muslims are separate communities with unresolved disputes, led to the demand for a separate Muslim homeland. As the British prepared to leave India, talks about the future of the subcontinent became increasingly tense. This resulted in the partition of 1947, the rapid and painful division of British India, forming the new nations of India and Pakistan. Pakistan was established as a homeland for Muslims, divided into two parts: West Pakistan, present-day Pakistan, and East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, which were thousands of miles apart from Indian territory. Meanwhile, India was established as a secular state with a Hindu majority, but with significant safeguards for minorities. The situation immediately after the partition was devastating. Communities that had lived together for centuries were suddenly separated by borders drawn without regard to demographic realities. This led to one of the largest population migrations in history. Hindus and Sikhs fled to India, while Muslims went to Pakistan. During this process, communal violence spread on an unprecedented scale, with hundreds of thousands of people killed and millions displaced. The shock of the partition left deep wounds in the collective memory of both countries, planting seeds of mistrust and resentment that persist to this day. But the partition was only the beginning. Almost immediately, the fate of the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir ignited the first flames of many conflicts. Kashmir, a predominantly Islamic region ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, was given the choice to join India or Pakistan. Amid tribal attacks and political intrigues, the Maharaja decided to join India, leading to the First India-Pakistan War in 1947-48. This war ended with a ceasefire mediated by the United Nations, dividing Kashmir between Indian and Pakistani administration, but the final status remained unresolved. Kashmir became, and still is, the most controversial and symbolic flashpoint of rivalry. The ideological differences between the two states have deepened over time. India, under the leadership of its founding Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, embraced secularism and democracy and sought to accommodate its vast diversity. On the other hand, Pakistan was based on religious identity. Initially, it was presented as a secular state for Muslims, but Pakistan gradually developed a strong Islamic identity, especially in the 1970s and 80s after military coups and the rise of political Islam. These ideological differences were reinforced by conflicting national narratives. In India, the partition is often remembered as a painful but necessary step towards self-governance. In Pakistan, it is seen as the culmination of the struggle for Muslim self-determination. The history books, national holidays, and public commemorations on both sides reinforce these competing narratives. For decades, the relations between India and Pakistan have been characterized by open conflicts and uneasy peace. In 1965, a large-scale war broke out again over Kashmir, which ended in a stalemate but deepened the hostility. In 1971, another war broke out, this time over East Pakistan, where a brutal civil war led to Indian intervention and ultimately the creation of Bangladesh. For Pakistan, it was a humiliating defeat. For India, a demonstration of regional power and a commitment to humanitarian intervention. The legacy of the 1971 war further worsened relations, strengthening the sense of existential threat within Pakistan's military and political elite. Outside the battlefield, both countries began an arms race with nuclear weapons that added a dangerous new dimension to their rivalry. In 1994, India conducted its first nuclear test, followed by successful tests by Pakistan in 1998. The shadow of nuclear conflict now hangs over every tense incident, making the risk of escalation even more serious. Despite the language of deterrence, the presence of nuclear weapons has not eliminated the chance of conflict. It has only raised the stakes. Kashmir has remained the most obvious and unstable symbol of the rivalry. In this region, uprisings, brutal repression, and border conflicts have occurred from time to time. Both parties accuse each other of supporting terrorism and uprisings. The people of Kashmir, caught between two nationalisms, suffer the most from violence and political deadlock. Yet this story is not just continuous hostility. There were moments when leaders on both sides extended a hand for peace. In the 1990s and 2000s, several rounds of negotiations and confidence-building measures brought cautious optimism. The Lahore Summit in 1999 and the Agra Summit in 2001 pointed to the possibility of reconciliation. Trade, visas, and cultural exchanges briefly flourished. However, after each success, a setback quickly followed. The Kargil conflict in 1999, the attack on the Indian Parliament in 2001, the Mumbai attacks in 2008, and numerous border conflicts. Each event rekindled distrust and hardened public opinion, making it difficult to achieve lasting peace. Today, this rivalry continues to shape the fate of more than 1 billion people. It influences everything, from defense spending to foreign policy, from school curricula to popular culture. It is a rivalry defined by both history and the present, by decisions and missed opportunities, by wounds that have not yet healed. The roots of the rivalry are deeply entrenched, much deeper than just disputes over land or water. They are connected to questions of identity, memory, and nationality. For the people of India and Pakistan, the other is not just a neighbor, but a vivid reminder of loss, betrayal, and unfulfilled promises. This conflict is sustained by political interest, military strategies, and the media narratives of both sides, which often suppress the voices of dialogue and understanding. Yet beneath the layers of conflict, there exist shared languages, consonants, music, and centuries-old connected history. There are stories in which families have been divided by borders but remain connected through memories, with citizens on both sides wishing for peace. The rivalry between India and Pakistan is neither inevitable nor unbreakable. Understanding the true history, the complex roots of ideologies, the unresolved traumas of partition, and the significant events that shape each country is the first step toward imagining a different future where rivalry ultimately gives way to reconciliation. More in-depth explanation videos, subscribe. Thank you for your patience.